You've taken a wrong turn down Creep Street.
Citizens of the Milky Way, my name is Dylan Hackworth.
I'm Maureen Bogey.
And this is Creep Street. As always, please follow us on that sweet, completely psychologically healthy social media.
Yeah.
Follow us on Twitter at Creep Street Pod, Facebook and Instagram at Creep Street Podcast. Mm-hmm. We now have a Patreon, as you might have heard, which of course, let's go ahead and name these Creep Street patrons at the $10 level. Of course, the Dream, James Watkins. The Madman, Marcus Hall. The Finnish Face, Via Alongfist. The British Bonebreaker, Bex Martin. And the oh-so-suave Sean Richardson. The tenacious Teresa Hackworth. And this week we have two newcomers to our Patreon. Introducing the notorious Nicholas Barker. And the oh-so-vivacious Vicky McHugh.
Oh my God.
That's right. Oh, man.
This is huge.
Woo, God, do we love our Patreon.
We got McHugh?
We got a McHugh, baby.
We got McHugh.
We got a McHugh.
That is my mom. I should be honest. We don't have the same last name, but still exciting.
Yes. And you know what? I'm excited to get talking about this episode.
I'm so excited.
Because, you know what? We didn't even intend for this Creep Street, but all of September became a listener suggestion month.
It did.
And we didn't even mean for that to happen. But
we just love the audience so much.
Before we get into October, which is going to be some freaky ass shit.
It's going to be big, you guys. We are so excited for October.
We are so excited for October, but we wanted to send September out on a bit of a bang.
A bang and a different kind of vibe. This is different for us.
Very different kind of vibe. Very cool. And he is also one of our Creep Street subscribers. Sean, great guy, wonderful guy.
Yes.
Love him to death. So let's get started. What are we talking about? Because this legend, these legends, is coming to us from the far off, beautiful land of Thailand. Very cool. Part of the world. We haven't done anything there yet. And so this is very exciting.
Yeah, we haven't. I also have just been so interested in Thailand and Thai culture and Thai food, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And all that stuff. I've wanted to go to Thailand for a long time.
Right.
And, we didn't, but we kind of felt like we got a little bit of a we got our feet wet.
I know geographically it's famously beautiful. Isn't it like they have those they're like these rock mountains that just kind of like come right up out of the water.
Yeah. I mean, and
really
they have
cool
really gorgeous beaches.
Yeah.
And they have great elephants, my favorite animal.
So what are we talking about today?
So today we are talking about two very interesting Thai, I don't know what the right even word for it
Customs
is.
Customs.
We're going to start off with something called, I believe, and once again, as we got to say, sorry if the pronunciations are wrong.
Yes, this is, there's going to be a lot here. I could hear Maureen earlier listening to a pronunciation bot.
So that's where we're at. We're going to start off with Luk Thep, which is this really, really interesting custom where people will sometimes carry around these extremely lifelike looking dolls, and they'll carry them around, really treat them well, dote on them, give them clothes, give them food, all these sorts of things. And the idea is to get some sort of improvement in your life, some success or fulfillment, whether it's financial or good luck or whatever it may be.
So like one of those, like a rabbit's foot.
Yeah, these things are essentially
just a rabbit foot that grabs a lot more fucking attention if you're walking down the street.
Exactly. It's a good luck charm cranked up to goddamn 11.
Yeah.
They're saying this is a life-like looking doll that I'm bringing with me. It's wild. So it's not exactly, it's hard to say exactly when the custom of Luk Thep started, but this iteration of it, which we'll get to more on that later, it's recent. It's within the past decade for sure. And like I said, the idea of it is essentially it is a good luck charm, but it's not just a good luck charm.
Of course not.
It couldn't be.
No.
We're on Creep Street, baby.
We're on Creep Street, baby. There ain't no such thing as just honest, just good luck. It's got to come with a price, baby.
Exactly.
It's got to come with a price tag. You need a receipt.
You need a receipt, okay? And the receipt here is actually a soul, okay? Are you listening?
Okay.
So
Like for a shoe? Oh, like the capital of South Korea.
a human child soul.
Oh boy.
So what happens is people may purchase one of these extremely lifelike looking dolls, and after purchasing this doll, the owner of it will take it to either a monk, or there's this other woman that we'll get to later, a woman named Mama Ning also performs this type of practice as well, where they essentially bring it to this person and they conduct a prayer or an anointing ceremony called a pluk sek. Basically, that is just a way for a wandering soul, a wandering child soul, to enter this doll.
Okay.
And then the more you dote on the doll, and the better you treat the doll, the more good fortune and luck it will bring to you.
Right.
And so the idea is that it's like these aren't just a metaphor, or this is a reminder. This isn't an object that is reminding you of something. This object itself has a soul, and has wants and needs and feelings, and it's sentient.
Interesting.
Yes. So Thailand is a very interesting place because for the most part, everyone is Buddhist, but people are also like, there's just so much going on in the culture. Like, the country also has its roots in Taoism and Hinduism and in animism. I always have so much trouble saying that.
I think we have a few animist listeners even.
Yeah. And Dylan, correct me if I'm wrong, but basically the idea with that is just that objects or plants or...
Right, even like,
Objects.
Right. Good point. Good, yeah. Things, I could be dead wrong. I know there's a million different interpretations. I think that's just sort of the bland Webster's idea of it.
Because Thailand draws influence from all of these different cultures and religions and thoughts, superstition is really strong and very prevalent in Thailand. And people are more open-minded and willing to believe and to discuss and to practice openly, or just even talk about, superstitions or spirits or things like that maybe us in a Western culture might not be as used to. But it looks so cool. I want to go to Thailand so damn bad.
It looks gorgeous.
And I think it's so cool that there's superstition still is has such a strong influence on the people.
Absolutely.
I think that's really, really cool.
Absolutely.
But of course, haters gotta hate.
Oh, of course.
You know what I mean? Some people are like, you know what? This is weird. I feel uncomfortable about this. And what really kind of got people talking about it was a few years back, a airline made a public statement and was like, yes, you can buy a seat for your Luk Thep doll.
Right.
And some people were like, now hold on, that seems odd. Whereas other people were like, who cares? Whatever. And then some people, like this place called the Netta Grill, they were smart about it. You know what?
I was going to say, yeah, I mean, as long as they're paying for the seat, whose fucking business?
Exactly.
They make a heavy person buy 2 seats. I'll buy one more for my fucking doll.
Let me buy one for my gosh darn doll.
Fuck you. Yeah.
Honestly. But the thing is, this place called Netta Grill, they knew. They were like, this is what we're going to do. We're going to lean in and we're going to offer meals specifically for Luk Thep dolls.
Ooh.
And so they had child rates or kind of like a discounted rate because they were really they put a plate of food in front of them. So they were smart. This place, they were like, we're going to do it. We're going to lean in.
Right.
And I think it worked out for them. But then police were also concerned maybe about how they could be used to get drugs in and out of the country.
Right.
And it turned out that actually did happen one time. One time there was a bunch of this stuff called yaba, or yabo. I think it's yaba, which is like Thai methamphetamine, I guess.
Okay.
A bunch of it was in one of these Luk Thep dolls. But for the most part, that's not what's happening, okay? That's really not the deal. So some people were worried about that, just about more safety or security reasons. But then some people were worried about it in more of a theological way. They were like, hey, this shouldn't really be allowed necessarily. Whereas these monks who practice at many different temples, but especially at this temple called Kwan, which is known for doing these blessings on the dolls.
Oh, wow.
A monk that practices there came forward and said, as it does not violate our monkhood principles, monks can recite incantations to please people. And that Buddhist monks give blessings on objects such as cars all the time, and that's widely accepted. So they're like, this is actually fine. We don't think there's anything wrong with this.
Right.
And that's another thing that I like about Thailand, that they're like, we're not drawing any like hard and fast lines. We're just kind of doing whatever is bringing us joy and bringing us peace. You know what I mean? I'm into that, okay? So there is this woman who's pretty much brought Luk Thep to the forefront and really kind of popularized it. She was one of the first people to really adopt this practice. Her name is Manana Boon Mi, but she goes by Mama Ning. I mentioned her before earlier in here. One of her main experiences with a Luk Thep doll was she was having a lot of trouble with her son. He was like just goofing off, acting, being a bad boy.
Little rapscallion.
Yeah, he was 17, acting like a dick, I'm sure. She was like, this is getting out of hand. So she got this Luk Thep doll and she dressed it up really nice, and she put some charms or amulets of her son's and she put it inside of the doll. Amulets is also like a big thing in Thailand apparently as well, which also is kind of this idea of putting kind of like a sacred importance on an object as well. And then she started taking care of the doll and treating it well, and she said that it worked. That her son cleaned up his act.
Nice.
And he got married. Okay. He moved out and got married.
Yeah.
So part of that, I mean, it worked. What do we know?
Absolutely.
He might have just grown up.
Well, goddamn.
But it worked, But ever since then, she has been devoted to helping others in their search for happiness and good fortune and stability through Luk Thep dolls. She's like kind of the number one. She's the Kris Jenner. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah.
I don't know why she was the woman I chose.
Right.
But she kind of is. She was like, hey, I'm in charge of all these dolls.
They're all made of plastic.
Yeah, so it kind of actually does work.
They kind of look human.
Yeah, it's eerie. Like, they look good, but something's
off.
But expensive. So it's not like she makes them completely herself. The Luk Thep dolls can range anywhere from like $30 up to like $400, I believe, something like that. Or it could even be a wider range than that. I don't know. But I think the high-end ones, they get sent in from America. And those are that's like the good shit that people want. Sometimes Mama Ning will get them and maybe she'll put in real human hair in them. Or she will put them together in a certain way I don't know exactly what she does, obviously. She doesn't tell everyone what she's doing in there.
Yeah.
And that's kind of the thing about it. But the way that she words it is, I put life essence into these dolls, like seeds. I chant prayers and then style the doll's hair, but I insist there is no black magic involved. I follow the Dhamma way. So there you go. And she also said, I create a soul to live in the doll, and owners can raise them as their own children, taking them out in public, just like a normal kid. But the way that she is able to put a soul into these dolls is not only because she knows a certain chant, or she knows a certain recipe of what is supposed to go into these dolls.
Right.
It's also because she's been worshiping the Hindu goddess of fertility, Parvati, for her whole life.
Love a good goddess.
Yes.
Love a good goddess.
Exactly.
I like that word.
Yes.
It's just a fun word, a goddess.
A goddess. It is amazing.
It's just a fun word to say, goddess.
Yes. And she says that, because she's been worshiping Parvati for so long, that she considers herself the body of Parvati. And she has the goddess in her heart. And that is why she is able to create these Luk Thep dolls with these souls in them. And something that's so cool about this is that the Western approach looking at this is like, okay, this David Koresh motherfucker is saying that they're a god and okay, they're going to burn down a commune. Whereas she's like, That's where it's like immediately like I feel like I click so far hard to that, whereas everyone's like, yes, she is embodying Pavarti, and she sometimes is possessed by Pavarti, and that's why she is able to endow these Luk Thep dolls with these souls, and everyone's just like, okay, yeah. Even the monks are like, yeah, totally. And I think that's awesome.
Wow.
Yeah.
Very interesting.
Very, very interesting. And she's not the only one. Some of her clients, for lack of a better word, have come forth and said a lot of great things have happened to them. A 33-year-old woman said that she did not bring her Luk Thep doll into her family for good luck or anything. She said it was, quote, just to increase my family's happiness. There is a man named Karun who says that the Luk Thep doll helps him get outside and leave the house. He said, she loves to go to temple, and that's great for me, for karma and for merit. And the same 33-year-old woman that I quoted before, she said, some people think, oh, you should look after your real family before a Luk Thep, but I think you'll find those with Luk Thep treat their families far better. And one more quote. This is just a great quote from a younger woman. I believe she was in her mid-20s.
A sage. Okay.
A sage.
So she's got wisdom. She's got the wisdom of years. Let's hear it.
I have a feeling you're going to eat your damn words,
Okay,
though.
I'll edit that.
No, don't edit it. She said, maybe it's just my imagination, but when I have my doll with me, I feel like I have someone by my side. Like I said, the doll completed me. Baby, 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 baby. But really quick, I have to interrupt myself. I was about to say American Girl doll, and a lot of these articles compared these things to American Girl dolls.
Yeah.
And that's absolute heresy.
That's fucking stupid.
These things are, American Girl dolls are cute little dolls that don't look like human beings. I mean, they do look like humans, but you know what? They're
cute, overpriced collectibles.
Molly survived World War II.
Yeah.
To be and once again, I'm not putting down to Luk Thep dolls.
Right.
I'm just saying they're completely different things.
Completely different.
Luk Thep dolls look way, way, way more lifelike. And also, by the way, Mama Ning says that she does like switch out the body of the Luk Thep doll sometimes, like as they get older, like put them in a bigger body and add more weight to the doll, depending on the age or how long. It's very interesting.
Interesting.
I don't know. So that is the long and short of Luk Thep dolls. Now, they are very, I think, a good thing. I think they're helpful to people and families. You know, I don't see how this could hurt your family. You know, if it wasn't helping, you just kind of cool it. Also, by the way, if you do ever want to do that, you got to bring it to a temple. Okay,
yes.
You can't just like get rid of it, because an object that has been endowed with a spirit cannot just be discarded.
Right.
Okay, just so you guys know that.
Right.
You might not know it, but the background in the history of Luk Thep is something a lot more sinister, a little darker. Dylan, will you please tell us about this other practice?
Well, Maureen, we're not done.
Okay.
We're not done. As they say, with a little light comes dark. It's that yin and yang. You gave us the light.
Okay.
It's time for me to bring the dark.
Whoa.
It's time for me to bring the dark.
Okay, that was cool.
I'm going to be talking about Kuman Thong. Once again, there's going to be things I know I am mispronouncing. Absolutely, 100% do I apologize, no disrespect. So in May of 2012, a story came out of Thailand that kind of shook people a little bit. A 28-year-old man named Chow Hock Kwan was arrested at an airport in Thailand by Thai police for something he had in his possession. Now, what sort of contraband would you expect, right? You know, you hear all the time about someone trying to smuggle drugs, someone trying to run guns, or, hey.
Maybe some DVDs.
That's what you would think. Did he get busted with drugs? Was he, running arms? No. What did he have with him? Well, Chow had with him in his luggage 6 human fetuses that had been roasted and covered in gold leaf. Now, you might be thinking, why the fuck would Chow be carrying around 6 human fetuses in his luggage?
I actually was thinking that. It's so weird.
Even more so, why were the fetuses roasted? Fetuses bad enough. roasted and covered in gold leaf.
And not like roast mode roasted.
Right, like dried out, like a husk.
Jesus Christ.
Well, you see, Chow, he had a plan. He confessed to authorities that he had paid roughly $6,000 for these fetuses, and that he was headed to Taiwan, where he was going to sell those things for 6 times what he paid for them.
Whoa.
Which I thought was interesting. 6 fetuses, he paid $6,000 for to sell 6 times their amount.
Yeah. 666.
Well, now, like you said, if you didn't live in that part of the world, you might be thinking, what the fuck? Okay, I get running cocaine.
But Jesus.
But fetuses, what the fuck is that about? You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Not that running cocaine and guns is good, also bad. But it's like, you get
you
the
get it,
you
you know?
get it at the end of the day. People want drugs, they want their guns,
Right.
baby.
They want their DVDs.
They want their DVDs. Well, it's actually because it has something to do with an old Thai occult custom, Kuman Thong. Its origins date back centuries, but they believe what really made it popular was in the 19th century. There was a book published by a man named Sun Thon Fu, named Kun Chang Kun Fain. Essentially, I'm going to break down what this story was. I'm going to give you the cliff notes. So essentially, the story is about a guy named Kung Fang, who is this high-ranking soldier who is very close to a king. And he also got real chummy with this very powerful sorcerer.
Oh.
And the sorcerer liked him so much that he told Kun Fang, you know what? You can have my daughter's hand in marriage.
Oh, wow. That's nice.
So they got married, and eventually she becomes pregnant. Well, Fane and the sorcerer, they started to hit a bit of a rough patch, and they start to argue, right? And so the sorcerer devises a plan to kill Kun Fang. He puts together a little plot with his daughter, Kun Fane's wife. Hey, poison your husband.
Totally.
Well, Kun Fane finds out about this, and in his rage, he cuts his unborn child
Oh my.
out of his wife's body.
Come on.
At a temple, a fire was started. The unborn child had been wrapped in a sacred cloth and prayed over, and the fetus was then set on a grill that had been placed over the fire. Chants and prayers filled the temple as the fetus was dried down to a husk. And according to legend, after the ritual was finished, the dead child then became a ghost that could communicate with Kun Fang and also act as a sort of guardian angel.
Oh.
Now, like I said, while this book was, they believe, what really kind of made it popular, it had actually been documented for centuries
Right.
in ancient Thai documents and manuscripts and
Yeah.
whatnot. It was a form of necromancy. Often you would hear tales about witch doctors who would turn these dead children into ghosts, that they would sometimes even adopt them as their own children
Oh,
or
wow.
use them as workers to sort of carry out their will. So what was the actual process of making one of these Kuman Thongs? Well, according to the manuscripts, the fetus, once it was removed from the mother by the witch doctor, would be taken to a cemetery. Because of the cemetery, the ritual would be conducted at that cemetery. The body would be roasted over a fire as the witch doctor would chant incantations from a script. Afterward, the dried remains would be painted with a lacquer and then covered in gold leaf. And this is what you would call a Kuman Thong, which I guess translates to golden little boy.
Yeah.
Occasionally, but not always, the figures were treated with an oil called Nam Man Fry. This was an oil obtained by holding the flame of a candle close to the chin of a dead child or a person who had died violently. And they would collect that oil.
Like the oil that melted from
From the chin, yeah.
Jesus Christ.
A very spontaneous human combustion. That oil, the
Yeah,
wick
it's
theory,
there.
remember that?
Yeah, it's there, guys.
Now,
Jesus.
today, that specific process is obviously illegal.
Yeah.
But as our story about the guy at the beginning about Chow, it kind of shows us, well, just because it's illegal doesn't mean there's not a market.
Right.
A market, a hungry market wanting these things, right?
Yeah.
In 1995, a Buddhist named Samanan Han Rakshit got in big trouble when a video was found of him performing the ritual using a real child's corpse. He was doing this to collect fatty liquid that he would sell as yasain, which translates to lust medicine. He would try to sell it to people visiting the monastery. Well, when they found out, he was ejected from the monastery and arrested, but he never served any time in jail. And perhaps
Oh my God.
the biggest and most creepy, you can look this story up, it's kind of dark. In 2010, there were over 2,000 fetuses found hidden in a Buddhist temple in Bangkok, and it is believed that the intent was to sell, not for all of them maybe, but largely the intent was to sell these for the purposes of black magic.
Whoa, that is wild.
And of course, once you've got one of these things, once you got one of these little golden boys,
Yeah.
you got to treat them right.
Yeah.
You got to treat them right. You got to feed, and you got to offer this. Well, you got to offer this thing food and drink every day. It's even got a specific drink it likes. I can't remember what it was called. It was like a red thing. And of course, if you don't treat it well, all that good luck becomes bad luck.
Okay, yeah, so
That's
it's high
the other
stakes.
thing.
Yeah.
That's the other thing. If you get one of these things, it's not like maybe it'll work, maybe not. No, it's either going to work or it's going to work by fucking your life up is what
Right.
it's going to do.
Right.
Creepy stuff. Creepy stuff.
One thing about the practice of it that I think maybe is also still considered to be true in Luk Thep, but I'm not totally sure, is the idea that because this soul has experienced life and has experienced love, it can't go on. I
Right.
think that might be true. So it's kind of different than the maybe more Western thought of being stuck. It's not necessarily like they're bringing this spirit or this
Right.
soul to this
Right.
whatever it may be, and it's locked there. It's more so that it's actually helping that soul, because it is experiencing life, that it can move
Right.
on. So in that way,
Right.
there is something about it that is good. It's just all intent. Yeah.
Well, and also, so like I was saying, these Kuman Thong dolls, they like milk, they like sweets, they like cookies and treats.
Oh, okay. It sounds like me.
All right, and apparently they can hear and see for a distance of up to 20,000 kilometers.
Jeez.
And apparently they like to tease the kids.
Oh, come on.
They're kind of like, they have like the almost poltergeist-like tendencies, it seems.
Oh, weird. That's kind of cool.
Now, it says when things like this happen, owners are able to discipline their golden boys. And they'll do this sometimes by striking it lightly with a wooden rod while speaking to it in a stern tone, is what this
wow.
article says.
Oh.
And when someone is no longer able to care for their golden boy, he or she can dispose of it at a temple.
Okay. Yeah. There are lots of similarities with the Luk Thep.
Interesting. Very interesting. What a fascinating part of that. It's this little nugget that's a little small faction of that
Yeah.
culture. It's just, I'm so glad Sean recommended it. It's something I wouldn't have even have come across. I don't know.
Yeah, no, it really is so interesting, and we're gonna do another episode later just about other Thai oddities or
Yes.
whatever.
When researching this, we found a lot of cool stuff.
Totally.
Absolutely. All right, well, that's going to wrap it up for Luk Thep and Kuman Thong.
Yes, what a blast! I loved doing this.
Great. Sean Richardson, thank you so much for requesting this.
I know we have some listeners in Thailand, so if any of you are listening to this right now, please reach out to us if you have any knowledge or experience,
Right.
or just any tidbits for us on this. We'd love to hear from you.
Absolutely. Ladies and gentlemen, once again, October's coming.
Yes,
We got big things planned, and also big things planned for our Patreon. Like we said, if you want to support this show, go to www.patreon.com/Creep Street Podcast.
more content, more fun, able to chat with us a little more. It's a blast.
Lots of goodies. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much. My name is Dylan Hackworth,
I'm Maureen Bogey.
and this is Creep Street. Citizens of the Milky Way, good night and goodbye.